Hello, I'm Miss Mercer, Decatur Township District Reading Specialist, and I will be teaching your child Sunday Lesson 14 today. In the following slides, I want you to have your child read each sound aloud. Make sure that your child does this rapidly, for that is the goal. And when you see a vowel sound, ask for the short vowel and the long vowel sound. So this is kind of a prompt, short and long, just as a reminder for them. If your child makes an error, say, let's trace, then you will say, this is the letter S, which says S as in sock, okay? And then you'll want them to trace it on a textured surface. If you have sandpaper, that's even better, but I know that's not always possible. So S, S, S says S, S says S, and then sock. Okay. I'm going to click through these rapidly. You can always pause the video to give yourself more time. And the students don't need to say the keyword. It's there for you to prompt them if they need an error correction. Remember to prompt for the short and the long sound. Remember to prompt for the short and long sound of this letter. Remember again, prompt for the short and long sound. Again, you're going to want to prompt. Okay, now we're going on to the spell sound section. So you will write the sounds that I dictate to you, say out loud. Write the letter for the sound that you hear in this section of your Sunday notebook or on a piece of paper. Okay, so this is your spell sound section. All right, listen, and then also for error corrections, for example, say they made a mistake. You would say, I see, I wanted D. Okay, what letter makes the D sound? Prompt them for the correction. And then you would write the D sound. Okay, if you don't have D for D, cross it out and write it. Now let's write it 2 more times to make it permanent. D, 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 D. Okay? All right, so listen carefully for the following sounds. First one, Y. The learner will repeat the sound after me, and then they will say it and write it at the same time. So make sure that they're repeating the sound before they say and write it. Next sound, sh. Repeat the sound and then repeat the sound and write it. Okay. Next sound, ah. G. I. B. B. Okay, give your student enough time to finish that. Now I'm going to ask your students some questions. How do you spell E at the middle of a word? How do you spell E when you hear it in the middle of a word? Okay, the answer should be E-E. When you hear E in the middle of a word, you should spell it E-E. How do you spell the K sound after a short vowel? How do you spell the K sound after a short vowel? Okay, your answer should be C-K. Okay, C-K. Okay, now the student's going to read from one column on the next page. Make sure they place their fingers underneath the word. If they make an error, you'll say, let's trace. So you want your student to look at the word while they trace each letter and say each sound. So for example, if they're going to do duck, they would be looking at it, d, k, duck, d, k, duck, d, k, duck. Okay, so you want them to sound it out, but blend the whole word together 3 times total if they make an error. Okay. Oh, let's skip ahead. Oh, I think I went too far. Got some things out of order. So in the spell words section, oh, I'm sorry. I'm all confused. It's like we've skipped some things today. I think we're out of order, but let's just go ahead. We're going to go to the read words section, and then we'll see from there. So take a moment and read these words. If they make an error, have them trace it and make sure they blend underneath. So pause the video and give your child plenty of time to read those 2 columns. All right. So I assume you paused the video to give them time to do that. So now we're going to go to the spelling portion. I kind of got mixed up in my order. I'm going to repeat. I've shown this many times, but it's always good as a repetition, not knowing where people are starting. If you are right-handed, you will touch spell. You will keep your right hand with your writing instrument, and you will touch spell with your left hand, k-at, starting from left to right. If you are a lefty, your left hand will hold your writing instrument, and then you will touch spell starting with your thumb, following the left to right sequence of our words. Tan, t, a, n. Okay, so that's how you would touch spell. Okay, you will write these words in this spell words section of your paper. Okay, so listen carefully. The learner will repeat each word, touch spell each word, and then say each sound out loud while they are writing the word. Okay, listen carefully. Sick. And you might have to pause after each one. I'm going to go quickly to keep the video time short. Less. Ship. Seep. fuzz, pack, get, of. Now, of is a sight word. So you will not say the sounds, you will just say the letters. Back, puff, may, sheep, toss, pick, men, I. I is a sight word as well. Pause the video to complete any words that you needed more time on. Feel free to rewind, go back to other words. Now we are going to check your words. If you made an error, cross it out. Don't erase it. Just cross out what you got wrong and then write the word correctly 3 times. So while we're checking, do that. If you need to make the correction, pause the video until you're ready. All right, so now we're going on to the next section, which is spell words, phrases, and sentences, and that would be in this section of your student notebook. This is where you'll write. Oh, before we go on to that, have your student read the words that they wrote up here to you, okay? Remember to have them read the words that they just spelled and they just checked. Read those back to you now. When they're finished with that, then we're going to go on to this section. Give them time to read the words. It's very important that they do that. Okay, so now I'm going to read a sentence to the learner. They're going to repeat the sentence, finger tapping 1 word per finger. So they would, if I said the tan man ran, they would go, the tan man ran. And then they would do it again and write. So they're going to repeat the sentence, tapping 1 word per finger, and then they're going to tap it out and write each word of the sentence. Okay, so first sentence is, May can pick up the duck. Okay, you'll repeat the sentence, tap 1 word per finger, and then you will write the words in the sentence. Next sentence, tell Jan to get the fish. Repeat and tap, and then repeat and write. Pause the video to give the learner some time. And now we're going to check your sentences. The first sentence, May can pick up the duck. If you made an error in the sentence, cross it out, don't erase, and write the correction above. Second sentence, tell Jan to get the fish. All right, make sure you have your learner read these sentences back to you. Okay, so now we're into the introduction of new material. We will write down some items right there. So today we have sight words. And if you have a red pen, that is even better. But what you want to do is, instead of having the students say the sounds because they're sight words that won't work, they are going to say the names of the letter. And if you could have them stand up and do something like this while they're looking at the screen so that they can see the visual of the card I have up there, and do something like this: Y-O-U-U, Y-O-U-U, Y-O-U-U. If they stand up, that's better. Okay? So they say the letter of the letters that make up the word because the sight words don't sound out. Okay? Now, I want you to go back. Hang on. And 3 times in a row, I want you to write U. Y-O-U-U. So I want you to write it 3 times here in this new material section. And now I'm going to go back to the card so you can look at the card while you write it. If you have a red pen available, that would be even better. But if you don't, this will be good enough in regular pen. Okay? Next word is from. And you will do the same thing with your arm. F-R-O-M, from. F-R-O-M, from. F-R-O-M, from. 3 times. Then you'll go back to your new material page and you're going to write from 3 times while you're saying F-R-O-M, from. Okay, do that 3 times. Okay, give your learner time to do that. Okay. And then the last part of our lesson is the read aloud section. It looks like my face is covering up part of it, but if I go right up here, I'll be fine. Okay, so pause the video and have your child do the read aloud section with you. And that is the end of our lesson 14 for today.